Alright, welcome back to Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I have to kind of start off with a slight fail on my part. I picked up the file again, and I got into this blue sphere stage, which normally appears in here, and then I realized I hadn't hit the recording yet, so I ended up losing that one forever, so I realized I wasn't recording, and I just kind of exited straight out. So, well, that's goodbye, an attempt at a blue sphere stage just because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. But anywho, you know, getting past all that, can pick things up here in good old Mushroom Hill Zone, which is rather... I always found it like an underappreciated stage in terms of like those green opening levels that you get in Sonic games. Like, so it's a nice, really laid back beginning part of the game. It kind of helps make the difficulty curve of Sonic 3 Knuckles as a whole bit schizophrenic, because you're like going back to a level that's like a whole lot easier than where we just came from. Alright, now I just have to remember where some of these other giant ring courses are in this game. I know there's a few in each of the acts here. So yeah, as I said, the main challenge really comes from the fact that you essentially only have like half the game to try and collect your Super Emeralds, because it's like once you get to Hidden Palace Zone, Hidden Palace Zone is basically the end point for all that. So you have Mushroom Hill, Lava Reef, Mushroom Hill, Flying Battery, Sandopolis, and Lava Reef, and that's pretty much all she wrote. So now, granted, you do have several opportunities in each one, but it can be a little bit of a maze sometimes. There we go. So we found one. So yeah, we missed the cutscene of the regular emeralds turning into the Super Emeralds. Which, once again, that was my bad. So I just figured, yeah, I'll just have to take one shot at doing this, you know, off the plate, and hopefully it doesn't cost me. So as I said, some of these Super Emerald stages are a little bit trickier than the Blue Sphere stages for the Sonic 3 Emeralds. This one's probably among the easier ones, and theoretically it's not that bad to try to get it perfect in this one. I'm just gonna, you know, not worry too much about it, just for the sake of trying to speed up the process a little bit. So the main thing is, yeah, I'll try to leave those blue spheres in the middle open for a while, just to, so it's one less obstacle you kind of have to worry about running into. And there we go with our continues. Okay, there we go. So then all that should be left are the blue spheres in these middle areas. And just a matter of finding them again. Okay, well, that's red. Alright, so 2 more clusters to find. Okay, 1 more cluster to find. And definitely at this point you want to not hit these yellow bumpers, because they just will spring you rather unfortunately into groupings that you've already collected. And there we go. Okay, so we got our 1. And our super emeralds, which are much bigger looking. Anyway, so one thing that came up like almost immediately after I was done doing the Sonic 3 videos yesterday was the announcement of the remakes for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. It's basically, I guess they're combining them together as one game, which was a very, very exciting bit of news. I wasn't sure if those would ever actually come out in any way, shape, or form, because the Tony Hawk... Oh, there's a giant ring down there. I gotta try to get back. Alright, so we're gonna have to do some backtracking here and see if we can get down this lower path. There we go. Ah! There we go. We want to get another one of these. You know, so... Yeah, after how bad the Tony Hawk 5 was, it's one of those things where I would have been convinced that they would have left the whole property as, well, this is just poisoned meat now. And then you also have to factor in there's a lot of stuff they have to deal with in terms of like getting back the copyright soundtrack, because that's a lot of the memories that people have for the games. It's just like how many awesome songs were in these games. And apparently they do have like, I'm not sure if they have all of them, or at least like almost all of them, but that was really great news to hear. So I'm kind of hoping, like, if these games do really well, that maybe they consider, you know, maybe like doing more of them. Like, if they could do Tony Hawk's Underground, that would be the most amazing thing ever. So that was a really cool bit of news. And I can say there's another thing I was thinking of. I guess it's a little bit of old news at this point, but there was a cool release sort of in the unofficial world with a basically like reverse engineered from the ground up of Super Mario 64 for a PC release. Not like just a totally emulated version or anything like that. This was like I guess they found like the whole source code and they totally rebuilt it to work, you know, really for PCs. Alright, let's do this glowing sphere stage here. So it's got like really great looking visuals and like full widescreen support. So it already kind of got me thinking that, like, you know, that'd be a cool thing to like visit at some point. Is just doing a run of Mario 64, the base version, especially since my oh, I missed that. Nah, come back. Hey! Oh, and yeah, it's an achievement for doing that whole thing. And I guess the only thing with that release is that Knuckles and Tails mode. Yeah, the only thing with doing that is that I don't think there's any kind of save state support, so I'd have to do it all 100% legitimately. Not that there's a big issue with that for me. be more like, well, any fails or falls would just be, well, I have to accept that as just, you know, as a matter of course. So that could be something I'd look into. And then there was also the official downloading of Halo 2 for PC. So now that I have that officially on my computer, at some point or other I will not be able to ignore doing that any longer. But, you know, cross that bridge when I get to it, I suppose. Alright, so we got 2 out of our possibles. I know there's a couple more I can find fairly easily in this level. So let's try to get some more Super Emeralds because, as I said, if you fail, you time runs short, and I don't want to end up failing on Sonic 3. Alright, which one is this? Okay, this one, I don't think this one is too horrible. Ah, okay, that's not really how I planned that one going, but that's more of a thing for if you're really trying to go for a perfect. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think those yellow bumpers are in the Sonic 3 stages. That's like a new mechanic that gets introduced for these stages. Okay, so the first 3 are a little bit easier than I kind of remembered. I know there's like a couple of them. There's like at least 1 or 2 of them that I know can be like really tricky with just how long they can take, and then dealing with the speed up. So it's like, oh, 1 wrong twitch when you're turning, and whoops, you failed. But yeah, so far so good. I'm pretty happy. And those guys are a little bit trickier to land on than it kind of looks. Gotta be really precise not to jump straight on them when their spikes are down. Okay, so it's not that one there. I know there's a... okay, well here's another one here. I was like 90% sure there's a spot later on where you go over top one. Okay, I remember this stage. This one isn't so much difficult as it, like, I end up getting lost and running around in circles after a certain point, because there isn't a lot of blue spheres. Obviously, we saw the counter there, but my god. And the color schemes in some of these, I think, are designed to just like make your eyes bleed. And this could be something where people have some complaints, because yeah, the color scheme on a few of these are nowhere near aesthetically pleasing. It's like this bright lime green and this really pale color. Alright, and yeah, now I always have trouble finding, okay, there's these dumb guys. Okay, there we go, found them. That was probably my record for fastest finding these in that I can ever remember. Alright, so at least getting, you know, 4 out of 4 starting so far. You know, with my recording app is... I'm pretty happy with that. So 3 more, now like I said, I have at least I know there's at least 1 more for sure that I end up running into in the stage. And this is another thing I always liked, was like this changing seasons gimmick. Okay, that just takes me all the way back here. Actually, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit here. I can't remember. Okay, so that's just taking me back that way. It might be coming up soon. See, like I said, that's the only thing with this level that I sometimes get a little bit... Okay, here's one for sure, I remember. Yeah, it's actually very easy to get almost all of them in Mushroom Hill. Except provided we don't fail. Alright, so this is where things start getting a little bit hectic. So yeah, I want to take out some of these guys here in the middle, especially these chains, because having to worry about those later on when you're going fast is the worst. No. Okay. It's like I didn't want to get janked by my stupid bumpers there. What was the deal with that, I ask you? Yeah, you gotta be careful with these guys. It's like very simple patterns, but oh my god, it's so easy to lose control of where you're going. There we go. So that's one that's kind of sometimes hit or miss if I make a bad move and fail. But if you do those middle sections early on before you get speed up, it's a little bit easier. So 2 more to go, and then I don't have to worry about these Emerald stages again. And I guess speaking of Sonic news, one thing I'm glad to see is there's still been a good amount of like streaming going on. So I was watching a video stream, like for charity stream of, I can't remember what charity it's for, but okay, I'm at the end here. I know I missed at least 1 or 2, but it's alright. But I think it's like run sort of like the same people that do like the Games Done Quick and Awesome Summer Games Done Quick and that kind of stuff. And it was a video of... Oh, what the heck was I doing there? I'm not paying attention. Yeah, video streaming was Big John doing Sonic Spinball, which I've said I want to do one, and like, man, just watching, remember, like, even someone that plays the game a lot more often than I do has all kinds of crazy issues with, like, dealing with the weird physics of that game. Yeah. How cinematic, just balancing on the edge of that bumper there. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I think back when Sonic 3 Knuckles is supposed to be all one game, there was the, I guess it's been widely accepted that Flying Battery Zone was supposed to be in the middle of the Sonic 3 stages, like right before you got to Ice Cap Zone, and like the snowboarding section you do with Sonic that we didn't get to see, it would have been done with like a door from Flying Battery as you escaped. And I think this game, I can't remember if this release has an option for doing it, but I know like the Sonic 3 Complete, at least I originally mentioned I might do, has an option for restoring it into that order, and they even have an option for changing the color sprites a little bit to match the time difference for when that game was supposed to take place, which is a pretty cool little feature. I don't know. I don't know if I'd ever want to do it that way. I'm pretty used to doing it in its official released time slot, but, you know. I do also have to say that it is one of my favorite levels, probably in like all of Sonic history. I think we can go up here. Oh no, hit the bumper. Yeah, the music is great, especially the Act 2 music. I love the Act 2 music for Flying Battery. Can't get in there. Have to wait for these bombs. That might be something they changed, actually. I think it used to be you had to wait for, like 2 cycles of bombs. I know in the Mania, you only have to wait for 1 cycle of bombs to break the floor. But, yeah, I guess maybe they updated that with the Mania thing. So I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be... Yeah, I was gonna say, here we go. If you go down... Yeah, if you went down, I was pretty sure there's supposed to be another giant ring. Okay. So, remember that level we were just doing before? Yeah, let's have more fun with finding the right path through blue spheres. Okay. Once again, not I'm gonna sweat getting perfects too much because you just kind of end up wasting a lot of time with hunting for spheres, and you end up going through super speed mode here. And if I can... must get to these last 2 spheres. There we go. Alright, so there's 1 more to go. That one is a very easy one to fail on, as you can see. And like I said, if you're going for a perfect, you get to that part, you're just going so insanely fast that it's way more stress than it's worth just for the extra points. Alright. Yeah, I always like the introduction of these capsules here that some of them have like these badniks hiding in them, and then some of them are just ow. I didn't mean to do that. And some of them like hide rings. Thought that was like a pretty cool trick. Alright, so this boss was a really interesting one. Like, when people say they had trouble with the Barrel of Doom, this was something that I actually had trouble with the first time I played the game. It took me an insanely long amount of time to figure out how this mini-boss worked. And like a lot of things, I eventually just kind of found out by accident. Because it's like, it's so counter to like anything else you've really done to that point. You know, trying to get it to hit itself. And there's actually a recurring theme with some of these bosses that you find in the Sonic and Knuckles part. Like the mini-boss that's going to be coming up in the next level, Sandanopolis, kind of functions along a similar, like, counterintuitive fashion. But I don't want to say too much about that just yet, because we'll get there then. Since it's a little bit of standing around waiting. Okay. And again, another level that has a lot of branching paths. I usually go that upper path, so I'm going to go this lower path. So I don't think I've done that in a while. Alright, let's see, where does this guy take... Oh wait, crap, I thought there was... that was my bad. I was like, I remember there is one that'll take you to a ring if you go the other way. It was obviously not that one. So, oh well. First time taking a death that was entirely my fault. Now the funny thing is, if you have the lightning shield, you're not attracted by the magnetism of those platforms there, but you know, you can get affected by them in the Sonic Mania, which I always thought was kind of interesting. Okay. Nothing as interesting as what I was looking for over here, so that's not a big deal. I do love those like really crazy high-speed sections. And I think we get a chance to see the differences in okay. Not that one either. I must have missed it. See, I was about 99% sure. And there is a spot where you can push one of these spikes. So that's something to be kind of on the lookout for. Actually, I want to make sure that I didn't... Okay, no, it wasn't here. I said I wanted to make sure I wasn't, like, just sort of, like, willy-nilly flying past it. So I can have all the Emerald stages done. By the time I get out of the flying battery, I'll be much happier off. Come on. Okay, this one must be it. Alright, let's hope I don't die. Okay, so this one wasn't it. Well, okay, there's one here. Okay, whatever. I must be, like, totally misremembering how things are situated, because I was, like, 99% sure I remembered going into one of those things. It's one of those things where it's been a while. Okay, see, this is one that has a trick that I'm not overly fond of, with having to do that crazy bounce backwards. Especially once you gotten some speed built up, the reaction time is pretty wild. Okay, so that takes care of all of those. Alright, cool. So we got them all. So we're 3 for 3 with the Sonic games getting all of the Chaos Emeralds. Like I said, I wasn't sure if dealing with a less than 100% optimal D-pad was going to end up screwing me over or not. So we've restored power to the Super Emerald. Hyper Miles. Yay, cool. So the Super Emerald's all glowy. Isn't that pretty neat? Alright, so it won't even matter that I missed that one secret spike pushing thing. So fun fact, you can actually hit that thing up there, although damaging it doesn't mean anything at all. This is just a matter of waiting out this room and letting this room get ever smaller. So it's our slight throwback to, no. I meant to spin dash there, what the heck? Here, a slight throwback to the Winged Fortress Zone boss. Nothing to do with weight. And just because the platform's not fast enough for me. We get to enjoy the rocking Flying Battery Act 2 music here. Alright, let's see if we can stay in the middle here. Get a couple quick, easy hits on him. So that's fun fact. It's a unique Robotnik sprite there. So when you're playing like as Knuckles, you're supposed to always fight the Egg Robo piloting the Egg-O-Matic instead of Dr. Robotnik. Whoops. But since that's a unique Robotnik sprite, you always fight that as just fight Robotnik as Knuckles there. Once again, I can't remember if this release fixed that or if it was just Sonic 3 Complete, but they do have released that there. They made a custom Egg Robo sprite in there to fix that inconsistency. So yeah, there's the door hatch that I guess you originally intended to ride all the way down to the... Oh, come on! Yeah, you ride all the way down to Ice Cap Zone. And my least favorite enemy in the entire world, the Scorps. I always have that little pro tip from the Sonic and Knuckles manual burned into my brain of time your attack on the Scorp just right. Like, thanks so much. Yeah, but just the range that they're able to attack you from is insane. Alright. I probably could have stopped my recording before I got to this zone. I wasn't even really thinking about my time, but yeah, we're a little over half an hour. I might actually cut in the middle of a zone for once and start a secondary video with Act 2. Just because, like, yeah, Act 2 is a bit of a longer act with its various annoying puzzles. But yeah, Sandopolis Zone is... It can be a, like, surprisingly tricky zone to get through. I mean, this is already definitely kind of feel that, like, Sonic and Knuckles is the second half of a game instead of just its own game, because, yeah, outside of Mushroom Hill Zone, the difficulty is not playing around. Oh, that's the Knuckles only path. No big deal. Yeah, those various platforms that obstacles that only Knuckles is able to burst through, taking a very dangerous route up here. Absolutely wonderful. I do like these things, though, these, like, repelling ropes. You don't really need to use them. Sometimes it's faster to go through without them, but they're fun. Okay, so we're at the end. We got this nice cutscene of this pyramid, like, rising up out of the ground. So again, I was mentioning that this is another boss that's all, you know, somewhat counter to what you're normally expected to do in Sonic games against bosses. And it also took me a little while to figure out. So yeah, you don't attack this guy. I mean, you can hit him and he'll just turn back, like, you know, into that single rock and then just regenerate himself. So what you need to do is you need to lure him over and get him to jump into the sand pit. I mean, I cannot tell you how long it took me to figure that out. So you spend so much time jumping on and attacking that guy, and it just doesn't do anything. Alright, going to the spooky pyramid, which will get even more spooky in a minute. For reasons that will be quite obvious. More shields. Shields will be of no use here. So, yay, there we are, the ghosts. So there's three different phases of ghosts. You have those tiny ghosts, and then there's a medium-sized versions of the ghosts as the lights get a little bit dimmer, and then finally you have the full attack-size ghosts. Whoops, no. We want to go up. Alright, let's go. And that's another puzzle. Once again, my early days of playing the game, I could not figure out that for the longest time. And you know, it's one of those things. Okay, you know, just find that specific path to jump on, and then you'll get to the other side. But man, I got caught looping so many times. Like, wait, which sand slide have I not jumped on yet? So yeah, I know I give some people grief about you know, having trouble with the infamous Barrel of Doom, and then, you know, I have my struggles with things like that. So a fun fact is, if you're doing this level as Knuckles, since Knuckles' game is supposedly like his storyline takes place after the Sonic and Tails storyline, the ghosts will already be loose when he gets in here, which is a cool bit of you know, attention to detail. And I am using Tails of Cheese. Like, technically with this, like, yeah, you're supposed to hit that and it causes like a sand rising gimmick to go on here. So it's like a race against time sort of deal. But yeah, with the flight, you can reach the top of these guys pretty easily. And, you know, get to some of these items that normally it's a little tougher to get. Alright, no getting trolled by the score. Always a positive. Oh yeah, I always said I was going to cut my video at the beginning of this act, and I totally didn't do it. Alright, well, I guess we're getting like a little over 40-minute long segment. Okay, wait, that's the Knuckles only path. Hello. Oh yeah, these ones are fun. Doing the twirl repel. Love it. Going all the way down. Ghosts are getting angrier. More of our sand dune slides. But, yeah, we can do some more, flying cheese. Okay, actually, there is a light switch. So those guys will attack. Now, they're more aggressive in attacking when you're playing as Knuckles, because almost everything in the game is made a little bit harder when you're playing as Knuckles. Ooh, that was a close one. Like, the boss's attack patterns are a bit more aggressive. And, you know, like I said, enemies like those are a bit more aggressive. Like, you see how slowly that arm is moving. Like, the stone golem here, like, definitely moves like a lot faster. So this is also a boss that has like an artificial timer on him. Like, if you take too long, there is a rear wall that you will hit, and you're crushed. So yeah, you don't want to take too long. And as I said, if you're playing as Knuckles, it moves a lot quicker than what you saw there. Alright, down to Lava Reef Zone, but like this time I will pause and I am going to cut the video for sure. So, pick this up in part 2. Well, actually, it's going to be part 4, but yeah.